Cast Cure Lesser Wound.
I move up to attack. Charge.
Alright. I'm going to be continuing. I think you're level 14 right now. So I think what we're going to do is the final option, and you're going to be taking on a demon, I think. So be cautious. The entire region was designed specifically to hold a powerful demon. I'm having a little trouble reading.
I move up to attack. Charge.
Alright, I cast Cure Lesser
The demon's
Wound.
name is Foul Lord Tulogo. Though this cell was of primordial importance, several groups of minor demons and lesser undead creatures were also held prisoner here. When the cataclysm that shook the entire dungeon hit, most of these fiendish minions escaped, but the special cell in which the mighty demon lord was imprisoned remained completely intact. Over the years, several groups of explorers and settlers came to the region, but the great demon cell remained undisturbed and undiscovered. Approximately 50 years ago, the last remnants of the Order of Myrune were summoned here for mysterious reasons, yet only Myrune, an ancient goddess of the oceans, travel, and vigilance, knows why they were brought here, basically to face their inevitable demise. It is still possible to piece together much of what went on during their stay. However, for the remnants and records of the forgotten paladins of Myrune can be found buried here. Most of these fragments of information are well hidden, but clues are scattered throughout the region. Perhaps sensing the crumblings of the prison wards, Myrune instructed her remaining worshippers and servants to assemble in this region of the dungeon. No one knew why they were brought together in the bowels of this forgotten place, except for the fact that they would be instrumental in turning the tide at the undetermined moment. Most were paladins and priests of acclaim. Only the wizard Aurum arrived without being summoned, claiming he dreamt his destiny. When the final pilgrim arrived, 41 men and women occupied the garrison established. It was widely believed by those 41 inhabitants that they were the end of the line of the tradition of worshippers of Myrune. So they waited without further explanation. When the prison vault of Falotogolo was broken, that's the name of the demon we're going to try and be hunting. Or I don't know if I'm saying it right. Falotogolo. Falotugolo. His prison vault was broken open. Myrune, some deity that we're going to be helping, revealed her plans with the exception of Aurum. I don't know if this guy's going to be coming up or if he's already dead. They were all asked to give their lives to fight the powerful demon that escaped. I'm not going to be asking you to give your life to fight this demon. I think you can take it at level 14. You did just slay a new deity of the goblins, the god king of goblins, Arglus. You killed him last session. So if you can kill Arglus, which was a goblin god king, then I think you can take on a escaped convict demon. Personally, let's find out. Aurum's tale of the battle is recorded in only one place. It's the Saul account. The Saul account. The last battle was subsequent demise of the servants of Myrune. Since Aurum was its only living witness, the wizard's account can be found. It is important to note that ethereal travel is possible, and To a powerful expert wizard Arum a few months after he arrived, the boundaries of the ethereal pocket are roughly 100 feet in every direction from the altar, and are clearly visible if the subject can see objects in the ethereal plane. So if any of you guys have ether sight and can see ghosts, you might be seeing a lot of them in this demon prison that we're going to be going into. A lot of people died here. There might be a lot of lost spirits in the ethereal plane lamenting their lives and deaths in this region. So if they're in the ethereal plane, that does not necessarily make them ghosts. Ghosts are capable of actually moving objects and attacking them. And an ether spirit is just a hallucinogenic experience that you can witness if you have ether vision or ether sight. And there's not really anything impressive about ether sight unless the ethereal spirit you're witnessing has some sort of important information, and usually they do not. We're going to be moving through the Forgotten Paladin garrison. When the knights, paladins, and priests of Myrune were summoned to the dungeon, they established a base of operations for their garrison in ruins. Though none of the servants of Myrune survived, evidence of their passage is evident throughout the area. It was Myrune, a minor goddess of the oceans, travel, and vigilance, who summoned her last worshippers to the region of the vast dungeon prison. At the time, those who answered the goddess's call did not know what was expected of them. They stayed here for more than 3 years until one day their purpose was finally revealed to them. Moments before the vile demon imprisoned in the room broke free, the last servants of the goddess of Myrune willingly gave up their lives to help an angel destroy the demon called Thalor Tulago. What? I thought we were going to be slaying this demon. According to what I just read, an angel already did that. Well, let's hope this area still has some significance. None but the wizard Arum, who was with them, knew of their sacrifice. But were it not for the brave men and women of the Order of Myrune, the demon would have unleashed its wrath upon the whole world. Forgotten guard. A broken table lies amidst the crumbled and disheveled remains of this otherwise empty room. Oddly enough, this room is not saturated with the same dust as others in the area. It's an eerily quiet, and the walls are unwashed. Former storage room. A few broken chairs line the edges of this room. It appears as if the chains were stacked there, but the wood is rotted and worms infested. Ethereal filter's lair. Secret door. Solid stone door. Indistinguishable from the wall. Massive door spins on a vertical. Central spindle, so pushing the left side of the door, causes the right side to swing upward. As the door of this chamber opens, stench is released. Darkness and flecks of reflected light sparkle and shine. A closer look reveals a dark shape moving slowly as more twinkling light appear. This is the home of a large ethereal filcher. Oh no. There is something in the ethereal realm that can attack us. I was wrong. This creature arrived at the prison sometime after the wizard Arum. Successful experiment gathered quite a collection of coins, gems, baubles, and shiny objects over the years. Though it can travel outside the ethereal pocket, its survival instinct prevents it from leaving for extended periods. Now this thing is capable of attacking us. It chooses not to, because it also feels threatened by our presence, so it stays in the ethereal realm and lets us pass. However, you already know a spell to get it to force it out of the ethereal realm, and you don't want a dangerous thing lurking in this room, so you force it out of the ethereal realm and banish it from reality, gaining some XP. You go to a small shrine.
I move up to
The floors
attack.
and walls of this room are surprisingly clean, but the most prominent feature is small but old shrine standing neglected against the eastern wall. The simple wooden shrine is engraved with an ancient symbol. The followers of my room used this small shrine to meditate in quiet solitude. Good aligned, feel comfortable, at ease. When they enter the chamber, all good, rest for at least 1 hour in the room and are blessed. They benefit from the
I
effect
move up to
and
attack.
spend another 12 hours at the shrine. It is good aligned, and you are blessed for spending time here. You feel twice as good as you normally do. You enter into the main temple.
Cure lesser wound.
An intolerable stench escapes from the door of this chamber, temporarily dulling opulence of high vaulted ceilings and painted walls inside the place. Powerful scent is enough to make even the strongest dwarf belch in disgust. It is a horribly decayed, dire rat corpse in the corner that contributes to the odor here. There's some sort of ooze, known as a slimy doom, tries to attack you. Probably light it on fire or something, because I don't know how well weapon damage is on oozes, or maybe you have some way of shooting a magic missile at it, that you destroy that ooze that was threatening. And, you continue gaining XP. Former armory. Locked in traps, no doubt. Don't have time for former armory. Probably not even got any functioning enchanted arms and armor or anything, so just pass it. Former assistant's office. Former commander's chamber. Former commander's meeting room. Fake door. Former store. Former common room. Large meeting room. Former meditation chamber. Well, if there's a meditation chamber, might as well meditate for a little bit. Several thick woolen blankets are lined upon the floor of this small room. The blankets are dusty and rotten. The walls of this place were painted with a soothing green shade, but cracks have begun to appear in the otherwise smooth surfaces, revealing dark bedrock behind. So I guess we won't be meditating in the former meditation chamber. Won't be meditating here after all. Pass a former barracks. Enter into the cockatrice maze. If only we had a minotaur here. Minotaurs are never lost and always have a sense of direction. Mazes can be very frustrating and confusing places. The walls here are worn, corridors turn sharply at random intervals, or end abruptly. In addition, sounds soak right into the walls, muffling footsteps and speech. You get attacked by magical creatures that look like giant roaches. You slay the giant roaches. They were still only about the size of dogs or cats, probably 9 of them in total. You gain XP. Former guard post. The moment the door's latch is turned, swings inward as a giant pendulum attached to the ceiling descends. Inside, along the north wall, there are 6 nail holes, some 6 feet off the ground, resting on its side. In the southeastern corner, in an old wooden chair with 3 legs. Former sparring room. 2 great stone chairs face each other across the wide room, as if it was waiting for opposing generals to sit and watch their champions compete. The chair to the west resembles a sailing vessel, the back support being a large mast with 2 crossbeams and armrest tapering into the semblance of a prow. The chair is to the east is shaped to look like nothing less than a tsunami, curled back upon itself and preparing to douse whomever sits in its path. Both chairs are set about 10 feet in front of their respective walls. there's an insanity mist vapor trap. You accidentally trigger the insanity mist and it inhale the insanity mist, and you'll have to make fortitude and will saves to try and avoid going into a temporal state of insanity from the insanity mist. You come out of your delusions and your insanity and all your hallucinations of things that weren't really there subside, and you go back into a normal state of mind. Large mural room. The rows of goblin and gnoll statues arranged in this room contrast with the most stark and empty rooms of the area. There are also several murals painted upon the walls. The north wall shows a knight in a shining golden armor standing at the prow of a ship, looking out into the endless ocean. The west wall depicts a battle between a battleship and a coiled sea serpent. As a bolt of lightning comes down from the sky to strike the serpent, the east wall shows a breathtaking picture of a beautiful woman looking out at a calm sea and a sunset, as if waiting for the return of her beloved. These murals are magically protected, and the painting itself is afraid that you might damage it, so it summons gnolls and gargoyles to attack you, to try and kill you, so that you don't have any opportunity to damage the painting, because the painting itself wants to survive on its own, and it magically summons gargoyles and gnolls. It's G-N-O-L-L-S, gnolls. They're like jackal-headed little monsters, and there's about 12 gargoyles and 10 gnolls, and you slay and destroy them for XP. You're getting good XP, by the way. You should be level 15 relatively soon. Path of Destruction. The demon imprisoned in room had many names. His true name is still unknown, and this perhaps is the main reason he has been so consistently elusive. For the sake of reference, however, he is most often referred to as Thalor Tulugo, which translates into common as the Clever Ash, or Ash the Trickster. In addition to his ability to escape imprisonment of any kind, Ash is renowned for being a malicious tormentor, so we're not going to be calling him Thalor Tugolo, we're going to be calling him Ash, because Thalor Tugolo is a difficult name to say in common speech. For us anyways, we can't keep on saying Thalor Tugolo, we're going to get that confused, so we're just going to call him Ash because of what we're going to turn him into soon. He is a demon after all. He's a demon. Ash was found by a group of angels and captured. He was then transported to the cell's entry chamber after its completion. The demon offered little resistance until the last moment when he pushed a soul angel named MR Antiel, a solar angel. They're really powerful solar angels. Solar angels are about 3 levels more powerful than the terrestrial, or so it is written. And this solar angel's name is MR Antiel. I think they usually have TLs, and that's the last parts of their names sometimes, so it's MR Antiel, the solar angel. If he's challenge rating 23, we should probably avoid him at this time, unless we be completely destroyed down to our soul, or imprisoned in the demon prison that we are in. Or wait, maybe we could help MR-TL. Let's just call him TL. Yeah, solar angels are very powerful.
Alright, I cast Cure Lesser Wound.
MR Antiel, which means unfading vigilance in the celestial tongue, knew there would be no escape from the cell. He accepted his imprisonment, fighting to subdue Ash in order to hasten the freezing process. Though unable to prevent one chain from attaching itself to his body, Amarantiel redirected the other 7 chains to Ash itself to his body. Amarantiel. And it could be Amarantiel. I just noticed that the word rant is in the middle of his name, and the first part, so it's Amarantiel. Kinda sounds like I'm going to rant to you. I've got a prepared speech, and a rant is already prepared to say at you. This is what solar angels do. They try and talk you into a corner.
I move up to attack.
If Amarantiel thought his unjust investment would be spent in a quiet contemplation, he was quickly corrected by Ash, or Falor Tugelo. From the first hour of their confinement, Falor Tugelo initiated a telepathic dialogue with Amarantiel. Over the centuries of their telepathic dialogue back and forth with each other, since that's all they really had to do is communicate telepathically via Warden and the prisoner, because that's all they had to do. They were completely confined to a cell with each other, a solar angel and some demon of some power, but they formed a telepathic dialogue and started getting to know each other, Amarantiel and Falor Tugelo.
Alright, I cast Cure Lesser Wound.
Telepathic dialogue with Amarantiel. So over the centuries, so they talked for centuries. Who knows? Ash embedded thoughts and voices into Amarantiel's mind, convincing him that the angel had been falsely imprisoned. During the last 100 years of their imprisonment, the demon twisted his soothing words until Amarantiel believed Ash another solar angel. So it looks like that's how Falor Tugelo escaped. He poisoned the solar angel's mind over hundreds of years of imprisonment, and just made him lose it and get confused over why was he here, you know. For as long as the solar angel is keeping him prisoner, he is a prisoner himself, while he has to keep on watching the demon through all that time of centuries.
Alright, I cast Cure Lesser Wound.
The final key to unlocking Ash's prison came when the wizard Arum arrived a decade or so ago, because Arum was going to slay Falor Tugelo under the orders of the lesser deity or goddess Myrune, and that's when everything fell apart, it looks like. Arum built a laboratory, and Ash took the opportunity to speak telepathically with the wizard, and probably drove Arum insane too. So while this guy used to be good, so long as that demon is projecting thoughts into his head, he's just quite mad. He's an insane man, you know. A decade or so ago, Arum spoke telepathically, beloved the demon with a false imprisonment angel, and the demon Falor Tugelo was placed in a cell of the prison complex. The demon told Arum it was impossible for him to gain freedom without also setting the demon free. Arum was warned against telling anyone they had spoken to prevent the possibility of someone freeing the angel, because it would also release the demon. Ash's steadfast refusal of all offers of assistance lest the demon be set free convinced Arum that the voice in his head was the angel Amarantiel. Posing as Amarantiel, Ash asked nothing of the wizard, but occasionally conversed with Aurum during his studies. These conversations became frequent as Aurum asked Ash for advice on magical theories and practices while working in his lab.
13.
Work of the creation of magical weaponry that Ash set in motion, a plan that he would lead to inevitable release.
Alright, I cast Cure Lesser Wound.
Aurum complained about spending too much time maintaining his forge to generate sufficient heat, and his research was suffering because of it. Ash suggested placing wards on the front of the forge to reflect the heat back into the walls. A higher level of heat would then be maintained. Not coincidentally, this would also focus a great amount of heat on the stone wall surrounding the prison. Aurum, however, did not know how close he was to Ash's icy prison cell. It was this mixture of intense cold from the prison and constant heat from the forge that eventually cracked the wall separating the rooms, and melted the ice to the water, which boiled away into the forge. And once the wall was weakened, Falor Tugalo and Amarantiel broke free. When Ash and Amarantiel broke through the wall of the prison, the members of the Order of Marunda, I don't know who the Order of Marunda is, it could just be a translation of a different language's interpretation of the Order of Myrune, or it could be something different with a similar sounding name.
I move up to attack.
The brave followers of Marunda fought the demon. Aurum used a number of illusions to trick Amarantiel into activating his true sight. It was then that the veil was lifted from the angel's eyes, and Amarantiel now understood the nature of Ash's treachery. The paladins of Marunda gave their lives to allow Amarantiel to see through the demon's trickery. Their sacrifice allowed the angel to regain his senses and slay the demon. The events leading up to the final confrontation between the demon and Amarantiel is recorded in Aurum's account of the battle. And we walk through Aurum's formal laboratory. And the broken prison of Falor Tulago. And it looks like this could have been whatever happened with Aurum and Falor Tugalo and Amarantiel. Whatever that was all about could have been the source of the earthquake, which caused such a huge, all the rubble and debris that we've been passing, and it looks like this part's already deserted, but what amount of lore, I think just from passing through the place or setting of such a massive event between a solar angel and a demon of some sort that was definitely telepathic and a prisoner, and whoever this wizard Aurum guy was, just sort of passing through this eye of the storm. You level up to level 15, and we're going to be entering into some caves next time, so make sure to be ready for some spelunking, because it's all going to be caves next time. You're level 15 now, and if I were you, I would still avoid solar angels, because they're very dangerous.
13.